you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start today's session by talking about BizTalk 93. Today is a very, very exciting lesson because it's a lesson that most of you encounter on a day-to-day basis in your personal life and in your business life. We're going to talk about something known as inflation. Inflation basically is a noun that describes a certain activity. The verb to inflate means to increase prices. All right. But we're talking about inflation in today's economy, which has a direct impact on business and you as individuals. All right. Let's talk about what is inflation. Inflation can be described the same as Neil Armstrong when he stepped on the moon. Neil Armstrong said, "It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Now, inflation might be a small thing for the government or for the economy, but for the people or for the public or for businesses, it's a great leap. Because what happens as a result of inflation is the cost of goods and services go up. And when the cost of raw materials goes up, it means that the product that you're making to sell your customer will increase its cost. And therefore, that increase will be passed on to the consumer in the selling price. Again, I'm reminding 43 people with their camera switched off. Unless your camera is switched on, in the next couple of minutes, you will definitely not be getting any certificate. Thank you. All right. So, inflation. How does inflation affect everyone? And why does it affect everyone? Inflation is an increase in the general price level of goods or services in your country or your economy. For example, 10 years ago, you paid $1 for a can of Coke. Now a can of Coke is $2. The reason the price of that can of Coke has gone up is due to the increase in the cost of making it and bringing it to you, the consumer. That is inflation. When the general price of goods and services goes up, each unit of currency or the dollar buys less raw material or buys less goods for you as the seller to sell. Therefore, the cost of purchasing or your ability to purchase with that same dollar becomes lower. Does everybody understand what I mean by that so far? Can anybody here give me an example of inflation in your country? Who wants to give me an example? Can you put your hands up? An example of inflation in your country. Give me an example. Anyone? Come on, put your hand up. Okay, Yasir, go ahead. Give me an example of inflation. Unmute your microphone, Yasir. Go ahead, Yasir. Unmute your microphone. Unmute your microphone.
Unmute it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Tell me, what's an example of inflation?
The inflation in my country is that there is many people are striking because now there is no more jobs, and then some people are ending up by giving up themselves, staying home, doing nothing, because every goods and services, the inflation is so high that people could not be able to feed themselves.
Okay, thank you for that, Yasir. That's a very good definition, and it's not only in your country, but in many countries. Thank you, sir. Okay, let's go to someone else. Let's go to Tet Su-hyang. Hi, Tet. Can you unmute your microphone? Go ahead. Hello, Tet. Go ahead. Tet Su-hyang. Can you unmute your microphone? Are you there? Okay. Ms. Su-young, you need to switch on your camera if you want to talk to me. I'll come back to you. Thank you. Okay, if you don't switch on your camera, Ms. Su-young, you will not be getting a certificate. Okay, let's go to the next person. Carmela. Hi, Carmela. Would you like to unmute your microphone? Hi, Carmela. Tell me. what does inflation mean to you? And give me an example.
An example of a good inflation is the rate of the gold. You know, if you buy it now, and
Yep.
then maybe after some time, the value of that gold will be as higher as before you buy it. So
So
that is
that means your dollar will buy less gold. Is that right?
yeah.
Thank you very much. Good girl. Excellent. Thank you. Good example. Let's go to Jenlin. Hi, Jenlin. Can you give me an example? Go ahead, Jenlin.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Give me an example.
Inflation is the rate of increasing for the price over the giving period
Very
of the
good.
time.
Very good. And tell me, can you give me an example of goods in your country that have increased in price?
For example, like the watermark.
Right? And how much has it increased? Can you give us an example?
How many time I go the inside the watermark? We have price like, for example, only this company the 55 tuna.
Right.
55 tuna before that price. This one is only amount 23. Now is increasing and 25.38.
Wow, that's a lot of inflation.
Yeah,
So
this
that
is
means your money buys less. Is that right?
yeah.
Thank you very much. Great example. Okay, let's try the next person. I'll try to talk to all of you. I've got a lot of hands, which is very good. Let's try to talk to Relima Wallo. Hello, Relima. Are you there, Relima Wallo? Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yeah, tell me, what's your example?
Well, inflation is a abnormal increase of the prices of goods and services.
Yeah.
And in PNG, I actually can witness that. Like the price of rice was like 38 kina maybe 2 years ago, but it's now almost 49 kina.
Right.
Almost 50
Okay.
kina. So I can
Good.
see that.
Excellent. Very good example. Very good example. So tell me, what effect does that have on the consumer? That means the consumer will end up buying less. Is that right?
Yes, the consumers are now buying less, so they have to like
Very good example.
go for prices, rice prices that are lower.
Yes. Very good
So
example. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Relima. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, let's go back to the lesson. Keep your hands up. I'll come back to you. So inflation basically means your buying power is reduced. You still have $1, but what you bought for $1 yesterday, you cannot buy today. Let's talk to the next person. Hi, Melba. Go ahead, Melba. Can you unmute your microphone?
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Give me an example. Good evening or good afternoon. Give me an example of inflation.
Yeah, the inflation here, for example, the rate of the dollar now is the change
Yes.
is very low and the price is very high.
Right.
And our salary, the increase also,
Yeah.
they decrease. And the food is very high, more than for the rate of the dollar. And
Right.
most the taxi, it's all expensive here, sir. It's
So
very.
what does that mean to the consumer like you? You can buy less for your money. Is that right?
Yeah, that's why I need to save. I don't want to ride in the taxi. I just walk when I go out every Sunday. That's why, because it's very expensive. Lots of my friends, they are sharing the food because when you buy the food, it's very expensive. It's a lot of cost of dollar
Thank you
because
very much.
the Lebanese pound, it's very slow. That's why
Well, tell me,
the
my grandparents, one of them is still alive and they don't live in Lebanon anymore, but they keep telling me about the cost of living in Lebanon.
Yeah,
I
very, very
understand.
fair. That's why it's very
Thank you very
difficult now
much.
in Lebanon.
All
Yes,
right, thank you
thank
very much.
you.
Talk to you again soon. Okay, let me go to the next person, and then we'll come back to the others. Okay, who's next? Let me talk to Danang Pratama. Go ahead, Danang. What would you like to tell me?
안녕하세요.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, what's your example of inflation? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm from Indonesia. I mean,
Yeah.
In Indonesia.
Yeah. Give me
If
an
I
example
remember.
of inflation in Indonesia.
Okay, in Indonesia, like increase something, some good, and fuel oil. Yeah, it means it.
So the price of oil is going up. So now your dollar buys you less liters of petrol. And inflation is common in Indonesia because of the economy. Is that correct,
Yeah,
Danang? Okay,
yeah,
thank
that's
you very
correct.
much for your input. Thank you. Okay, let us talk to one more and then we have to go on with the lesson. Okay, Mary, no, sorry, who have I got first? Hold on. Okay, before Mary, I have Rukimi. Hi, Rukimi, are you there? Go ahead, unmute your microphone, please. Hi. Hi, tell me, what's your example of inflation? Hello.
Example of inflation here, for example, in Singapore, some of the rentals
Yes.
for apartments have raised.
Yes.
That was a year back,
Right.
was raised about 20%.
Yes.
So
So the cost, so the rent
what's it
cost
called?
has gone up, so it's harder for you now to pay rent. Is
Tenants,
that right?
yes. Yes,
Okay.
and some of the tenants will move out and
Right.
transfer to the lesser cost apartments,
Okay.
like
Good.
something like that, sir.
Understand. Thank you very much. Good example. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go back to the lesson now and let's come back to the others. We'll have many opportunities to talk. Let me share my screen. Okay, so we said that inflation, by general terms, is an increase in the general price and the level of goods and services and the cost in the economy. And that means your dollar can buy you less. Okay, inflation is basically the gradual loss of your buying power, because when the dollar buys you less, you can buy less with the dollar you have. What does inflation do? Inflation affects not only the business, but it affects the consumer. So if the consumer can no longer afford to buy the goods from the business will suffer. Households, consumers lose their purchasing power. So if people don't have money to buy goods and services, businesses will fail. All right, let's talk about inflation. What does inflation do to your business? I want everybody here to think for 1 minute. And I want you to think of two things that inflation can do to your business. 2 minutes, all right? Everybody think for 2 minutes. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay. All right. Who can give me a first example of what inflation can do to a business? Who wants to go first? Ralima Waldo, you need to switch on your camera or you won't get a certificate. If your camera is not switched on, no certificate will be issued. Ralima Waldo. Okay, let's go on. Let's go to Tapelo. Tapelo, give me an example. What impact can inflation have on a business?
Good day, sir.
Hi, Talipo. How are you today?
I'm good, sir.
Tapelo, very
Yes.
nice to hear you, Tapelo. Tell me, what impact can inflation have on a business?
customers may not buy because they may not afford a higher price to pay for services.
Very good. Excellent. That's exactly right. Because if they don't buy, businesses won't earn revenue and businesses will go broke. People will lose their jobs. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Tupelo. Very good answer. Okay, who else can give me an example, the impact of inflation on a business? Let's talk to Mercedes. Hi, Mercedes. What do you think is the impact on business by inflation?
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
It
Go
can
ahead.
it can increase the cost, and the business will have like uncertainty,
Uncertainty,
and
yes.
yeah, and it's also affect to customer behavior and interest rate.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Very good answers. You're doing very well. Thank you, Mercedes. Okay, let's go to the next person. Let's talk to Mary. Hi, Mary. What do you think the impact of inflation is on business?
Oh, hi, Wally. Good evening. One of the impact for the inflation to our business is to reduce the purchasing power of the consumers, and also it can impact the financial management challenges with our business.
Very good. So if businesses don't do business, what will happen to them as a business? They might end up being insolvent, go into bankruptcy, and have to fire all their staff. Is that right?
Correct. Perfect.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, let's go to the next person. Carmela, and then we'll talk to the others later. Go ahead, Carmela.
Yeah, hi. Actually, the effect of the inflation for the business is their financial stability. So
Right.
it will be at risk.
That's right. So if consumers have less buying power, the business will suffer financial loss, and therefore their financial stability will be affected. Is that right?
Yeah, and also their cash flow.
Very good. Excellent. Their cash flow will be reduced. Very good. Thank you, Carmela.
Thank you.
Okay, let's talk to one more. Okay, Som Dorji, you need to switch on your camera. Right now, I'm seeing your picture, Som. If you want a certificate, Som, you better switch on your camera. If you put that poster back, you'll get no certificate. Your camera must be on all the time. Go ahead, Som, unmute your microphone. Hi, Som Dorji, go ahead. Tell me, Som, what other impacts can inflation have on a business?
Inflation can also disrupt purchasing power over time for recipients and
Very good. Excellent. Okay.
years of fixed interest rates.
Very good, Som. Very good example. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. So inflation not only affects the consumer by reducing the consumer's buying power, but in turn, if the consumer can no longer afford to buy a certain number of goods, that will directly impact the business, because therefore the business will lose the number of customers buying. It will reduce the business revenue, and the business might still have fixed costs, and therefore they won't be able to pay their rent. They won't be able to pay their salaries if they don't have a large cash reserve. So inflation not only impacts the consumer, but it also directly impacts the business who sells to the consumer. Som Dorji, if you do not put your live camera on and keep it on, as long as you show me the picture, I will not give you a certificate. Your camera must remain on all the time, Som. Please, as common courtesy to me. Thank you. All right? Thank you. All right, let's go back to the lesson. Okay, so what we just covered, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that companies lose purchasing power and risk seeing their margins decline when prices increase. So when companies actually can buy less goods for their dollar from the manufacturer or from the factory or from the supplier, that means the goods they buy cost them more and they have to charge the customers more. Now, if the goods that the company buys costs more, then who pays that price difference? The consumer. Okay, so as a result of companies typically raise prices of their products or services to offset inflation, which means who suffers? The consumer absorbs the price increase, and therefore they have to make a decision between increasing the price too high, losing customers, or only increasing the price a little bit, reducing the amount of profit in order to keep customers. For example, I sell t-shirts. The t-shirt used to cost me $3 in my shop from the factory in China. The t-shirt now costs me $4. I used to sell the t-shirt for $10. I used to make $6 profit. So now do I increase that $10 to $11, or do I keep the price of my t-shirt at $10 but make $1 less profit? That will depend on the business and how much they're prepared to sacrifice. Because if they increase the price of this t-shirt to $11, the effect may be loss of customers, which means no one will be buying, and therefore they will lose money and no one to sell the t-shirts to. If they lose customers, it means there's no longer a demand for their product and the business will end up going broke. All right, let's go on. Inflation. Companies need to find a balance, an equilibrium. Do I increase prices or do I bear the loss, not increase prices? I still make some profit, but my profit is reduced, therefore I won't lose customers. When buyers and sellers meet at the right price, all products are sold. Does everybody understand that? What that means is, if I have a business and I sell the product at the right price, people will buy it. But if my customers think that my product is too expensive, they will not buy it. So is it better to lower my profit and have customers, or to expect higher profit and reduce the number of customers? Who can give me an answer? Can anyone answer that? Is it better to have less customers, higher profit, or higher customers and lower profit? Who can answer that? Can you answer that, Marie? Go ahead, Marie. Hi, Marie.
Yes, sir.
So is it better to have higher profit, less customers, or more customers, lower profit? What do you think?
Better to high customers.
High number of customers, lower profit, which will keep the business cash flow. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you, Marie. Good girl. Excellent. Okay, let's go on. So what we're saying here is it's better to accept a lower profit margin but retain the number of customers, because if you up the profit margin, the risk is you lower the number of customers buying and there'll be a lower demand for your product, and eventually that might mean your business losing money. Ruklimi Estacada, you need to switch on your camera if you want to receive a certificate. All right, let me go on. Okay, so when buyers and sellers meet at the right price, all products are sold. However, if the seller becomes greedy, then buyers will walk away, the buyers will not buy, and the seller will not sell. Okay, in any market between the seller and the buyer, whether we're selling goods or selling services, the price is determined by demand. So that means if your demand is high, you can charge a lower price and still make a profit. If the demand is lower, you have to charge a higher price in order to cover your costs. Supply and demand are determined by the conditions in the market. Does everybody understand that? Take, for example, you can have two companies make pens, or two companies make watches. Now, one company makes the same watch in China. The cost of production in China is very cheap. Another company in Europe makes the same watch. They look exactly the same, but the name or the brand is different. Of course, the Europe watch is going to be more expensive. Now, if Europe wants to compete with China, it either has to produce a better watch or reduce the price of the watch they're making so people will buy it. So, inflation can be two different types of inflation. Two different types. The first type of inflation is what we call demand pull inflation. This occurs when the demand for goods and services in the economy exceed the economy's ability to produce them. For example, let's talk about Rolex watches. Many people around the world want to buy a Rolex watch, but Rolex only make 1,000 or 2,000 of those models every year. So because there's 10,000 people that want this Rolex watch, but Rolex will only make 2,000, that means it is demand pull inflation. Because 10,000 people want it, only 2,000 watches are available, therefore Rolex can ask for a higher price. Example, when demand for new cars recovered more quickly than anticipated after COVID-19, there wasn't enough cars that had been shipped from the factories in Japan or Korea or China to other markets. So that means the cars that already existed in Indonesia or Hong Kong or Australia that had been imported from China, Japan, or Korea, their price went up because there wasn't enough cars arriving in Australia quickly enough to meet consumer demand. The other type of inflation is what we call cost pull inflation. Cost pull inflation. Okay? Cost pull inflation is different. Cost push inflation occurs when rising prices of input goods and services increases. Okay, so cost pull and cost push basically are very similar. All right, so demand pull and cost pull. What do we mean by that? For example, cost push and cost pull are a result of prices rising when goods and services increases the price of the final goods and services out. For example, I want to buy a white t-shirt. However, this t-shirt is made out of cotton. And this month, the price of cotton went up. Therefore, when the shop bought the t-shirt from the factory in China, the cost of that t-shirt went up. And they increase the price to the consumer. So cost pull to cost push inflation, where the supplier, the manufacturer demands a higher price, and that higher price is then pushed on to the consumer. All right, perfect competition. Now, we've talked about inflation, about prices going up for two different reasons. We've talked about demand pull inflation and cost pull inflation, which causes the cost to go up and get pushed onto the consumer. Perfect competition is when there are more than one suppliers selling the same t-shirt. For example, Carmela has a shop, Marie has a shop, and Sonam has a shop. They all sell the white t-shirt. Sonam's shop sells this t-shirt for $10. The cost of the t-shirt to Sonam just went from $5 to $6. So Sonam decides he will still sell the t-shirt for $10, but he will reduce his profit to $4. Number one. Number two, Marie buys the t-shirt for $5. She used to buy it for $4, but Marie decides to sell the t-shirt for $9.90, and she means reduces her profit by $1.10 because she knows that Sonam has only selling it for $10, but because people can now buy less, she's going to lose 10 cents rather than increase her price. Another form of competition. Third and final form is Carmela decides she will still sell the t-shirt for $10. Okay, she will only make $4 profit, but she will compensate her customer by saying, buy one t-shirt and you can have the second one 50% discount. All of these are perfect competition. The same product, buyer and sellers can find one another at no cost, and no barriers prevent new suppliers from entering the market. That means you can have 10 shops supplying the same t-shirt and competing against another. In perfect competition, that means that everybody can play with prices. There is not one person that can control the prices and ruin the market. So that means the price as a given and the market clearing price is the one at which there is neither excess supply nor excess demand. The market is stable. It's a flat line. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Okay, let's go on. Suppliers will keep producing as long as different shops like Carmela, Marie, and Som keep buying. Buyers will go on purchasing as long as one of these shops provides them value at the right price. If the prices rise, additional suppliers will be enticed to enter the market. So what happens is, if Carmela, Marie, and Som all agree to raise their prices from $10 to $11 and consumers don't have a chance to buy it cheaper, then maybe another company will come in and still sell the t-shirt at $11. If prices fall, suppliers might say, hold on, you're selling the t-shirt for $10. I can't sell it for $11. I can't make money, so I'll stop selling the t-shirt. Okay, so does everybody understand what we mean by that? Yes or no? Does everybody understand what I mean by what I've explained? Can you put up your hands? Everyone? Okay, good. Let me go on. All right, does everybody understand what I mean by perfect competition? Yes or no? Put up your hand. Good, excellent. Jeevan, do you understand it, Jeevan? Can you tell me what you understand, Jeevan? Where are you, Jeevan? Go ahead, Jeevan. Unmute your microphone. Tell me what you understand, Jeevan. Are you there? Go ahead, Jeevan. Unmute your microphone. What do you understand?
I understand that Sir was saying about the perfect competition between two example, like Sir explained about Sonam.
Yep.
Sir given example of Sonam selling his product to the customer.
Yep.
With the less price and
same price but lower profit.
With lower profits.
Right. Okay. Compared to the other girl who's selling the same t-shirt at the same price, but she gives them a benefit. She says, you buy one t-shirt, I'll give you a discount on the second one. Do you understand that? So basically, the price is controlled across the market. Okay. Everybody can do what they want. It's perfect competition. They can compete against each other. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Good man. All right, let's go on. Okay, so let's go on. So what happens with this? Let's talk about this. All of this has an impact on supply chain management, guys, because if you think of it, the t-shirt comes from a manufacturer. The manufacturer has to buy the raw material, the cotton or the fabric, from another supplier. So first, we start by buying the cotton, turning that cotton into a fabric. The fabric is sold to the t-shirt factory to make t-shirts. Those t-shirts are sold to the end retailer. So all of this comes through a supply management chain where the flow of goods travels. And that means, so if the factory making the t-shirt incurs an increase in the costs of the raw materials, that means they have to pay more for the cotton, and that means they have to charge more to actually make the t-shirt and sell it to the seller or the distributor or the retailer. Supply chain management is basically what the suppliers do to develop and implement supply chain and try to make sure that the supply chain remains economically sufficient to cater for market demand. So if I'm making this t-shirt for $5 and suddenly I can only make this t-shirt for $10, is anybody going to pay $10 for that t-shirt? No. So unless the supply chain recognizes what the customer is prepared to pay at the end and be able to deliver the product from raw material to a made t-shirt to the shop where the consumer buys it, then supply chain management will fail because no one will buy the end product. Okay, so what does supply chain management do? It's supposed to control the link between making the t-shirt, shipping the t-shirt, and distributing the t-shirt to the end consumer. It's supposed to control the pricing so the t-shirt can still go to the end consumer at a price that meets the demand. By better managing the supply chain, companies can try to maintain their costs, reduce their costs, and deliver the product to the consumer faster at a price which the consumer can afford. Does everybody understand that, guys? Yes or no? Does everybody understand that? Can you wave your hands to me, please? Yes or no? Who can give me an example of something they used to buy 1 year ago that's increased its price? Who would like to give me an example? Can somebody put up their hand? Who can give me an example of something that you bought 1 year ago that has now increased its price? Who can give me an example? Come on, guys, put your hands up. Who can give me an example? Who can give me an example? All right, let's start with Diane. Are you there, Diane? Unmute your microphone. Unmute your microphone, Diane. Go ahead, Diane. Yeah, Diane? Are you there, Diane? No? Okay, let's go to someone else. Diane, if you don't put on your microphone and camera, I can't actually ask your question, okay? Let's go to the next person. Let's try, who's next? Marie. Hi, Marie, go ahead.
The best example, sir, is sugar, because my
right.
business is cake. So
Right,
sugar
so you need sugar to make
sugar
cake,
last
right?
year is 60 pesos.
Right,
Now,
and now
80 pesos.
So what does that do to your the price of your cake?
I also increased the price.
And what happened to your customers?
Customers are also returned, but then I go to the design and the quality is not changed, so that the customer will be back again, even though it's much more higher.
But you had to explain to your customer, right? You had to tell your customer, correct?
Yes. Actually, they know.
Have you retained all your loyal customers?
Actually, yes, sir.
Good on you.
It depends on how you treat and talk to customers.
So
It
what you're
depends on
saying is you can counter inflation and increase in price by correctly communicating it with your customer. Is that right?
Communicating is the key.
Very good. Thank you very much. And that goes back to what we learned a few weeks ago, that you have to be customer centric. You have to understand the way your customers think, their psychology, and how much they're prepared to pay. You need to understand that. Okay. All right. Let's go on. Let me give you another example. How many here of you go to restaurants? Put your hand up if you go to a restaurant. Who goes to a restaurant? Very good. So let me talk to Tupelo. Tupelo, what's the restaurant that you've gone to recently? Yeah, what is it, Tupelo?
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Right. So tell me, have you seen an increase? Please don't share your screen. Govind, can you get rid of that screen sharing, Govind? Govind?
Yes, sir, checking.
No, just remove that person from the session, please, quickly. Remove that person from the session now. You are not allowed to share your screen with photos of anyone. Remove that person from BizTalk until he understands the rules. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, where were we? Let's go back to stop sharing and let us talk again. Tell me, Tupelo, what happened to the price of Kentucky Fried Chicken?
It nearly doubled.
Why? Explain to me why. Because the cost of chicken went up?
Yes, cost of chicken went up. And
okay, it's happening again, Govind. Remove Andre Farm from the session now and send him a message. Tell him he's been blocked until such time as he follows our rules. Thank you, Govind. Go ahead, Tupelo.
Yes, sir. Meal of 2 chicken piece last year was 30 pula. Now it is 60, like 100% increase.
So what happened to Kentucky Fried Chicken? Are people still buying chicken?
Not like before. Like people now, and those who can afford, yeah.
But people still want to eat, so eventually they still have to pay for chicken, right?
Yes, sir.
But they might not have a choice. But what it will do is they cannot eat chicken every day. They have to eat less chicken. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good on you, mate. Very good, Tupelo. Much appreciated. All right. Does everybody understand that? Thank you, Tupelo. Who else wants to try to answer me? Yeah. Go ahead. Melba, do you have an example for me, Melba?
Yes, sir, because in the Philippines, hello, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because in the Philippines, I'm selling a meat. Before, now it's the price before last year is very low. Now the price is higher.
Right.
It's more than, I think, 10% rise now in the Philippines.
Very good. Excellent. Okay. So what does that mean? People are buying less or what?
Well, sometimes if they don't have money, so they make credit for a week, they pay for a week. But if they have money, so they must to pay directly. But sometimes they don't have, so that's why yes, I make credit for them.
So what are you doing by giving credit? You're giving credit to make sure you retain your
So I
consumer.
higher the price.
Otherwise, you lose your customer. Is that right?
Yes.
Very good, Melba. Very good. Very smart. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's talk to Yasir. Yeah, Yasir, what would you like to share? Go ahead, Yasir.
Last year, I think in tickets, the fuel price was almost about 190 naira. That's in my country right now. But now it's almost 5 times. That's we are selling a liter of oil, almost about 596 naira. That's $1 equal 1,200 naira. That's $1.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Very good. So what you're saying to me is what it does. Just give me a minute.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so what you're saying to me is the price of what you could buy before has increased. So what you're saying in summary is you're able to buy less, Yasir. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Very good, Yasir. Very good. You understand what I'm talking about. Very good. Okay, let's go to the next person. Let's talk to one more. Marie Rebel. Oh, sorry, Mafi Rebel. Go ahead, Mafi.
Hello, sir. The product, it's depend upon the situation.
Right.
We
Yeah.
can, as I learn about the business,
Yeah.
you can increase your product if it's already demand.
Yep.
But yes, but the more they demand it, the more they need it. You can increase, but the quality should not be changed, because quality is the one that the customer is paying, and
Very good.
also must be we need to get some feedback of our products, because sometimes the customer is mostly they know the products, they know the quality, they know what they want. So we sell the product not because we sell it, but because they want it, our product.
Very good, Mafi. You're on the right track. Very good example, Marifi. Thank you. Okay, so everybody understands that. Okay, Govind, have we got rid of the person with the screen? Yes or no?
Yes, already removed.
Thank you. And make sure you let him know why. Thank you. Okay, let's go on. Okay, so by managing our price in the supply chain, by controlling the costs of the supply chain from raw material to manufacturing to supply distribution, we're able to reduce the cost in order to make sure that the retailer, the person selling our product, can still meet the demand by consumers by providing the product at a price that the consumer is prepared to pay. Supply chain management assumes that nearly every product that comes to market results from the efforts of various organizations. That is, the farmer, the manufacturer, the logistics that take it to the warehouse costs that send it then onto the seller or the retailer that actually sells it to the consumer. All of these are expecting to provide a value-added product to the retailer or to the shop so that the consumer can actually afford to buy the product or service. So, whose responsibility is it to ensure that there's enough products going to market at the right cost? That is the responsibility of the supply chain manager. The supply chain manager must oversee and manage the overall supply chain and logistic operations to maximize efficiency and the cost of the goods going to the consumer. 5 parts of the supply chain are important. One is the planning. Planning about the processes that need to begin the supply, okay, with customer and manufacturing demands. So we know that the factory needs to produce flour for all the bakeries to bake bread. This relates to raw materials needed during each stage of manufacturing. So in order for bread to be made or baked so people can buy bread, first, there has to be corn. The corn has to become flour. The flour has to be delivered to the bakery from the flour mill. The corn goes to the flour mill. The flour mill changes the corn to flour or the wheat to flour. And then the wheat or the flour, corn flour or wheat flour, whichever one you're producing, will then go to the bakery to bake bread. Sourcing. Efficient supply chain management processes need a strong relationship between the supplier and the manufacturer. So that means the supplier that grows the wheat that needs to send it to the mill to make it flour needs to have a strong relationship with the mill, because if the mill doesn't buy his wheat, he will not sell his crop. He will not be able to grow another crop. So the wheat grower has to have a strong relationship with the wheat distributor who sells that wheat to the mill, who then makes that wheat into flour and sells it to the bakeries to bake bread. There's 5 parts of the supply chain. As I've said so far, we have already spoke about the planning stage, the very beginning, the sourcing stage where they bring together the raw materials. Different companies in different industries will have different sourcing requirements. For example, raw materials meet the manufacturing specification needed for production of goods. So if I want to bake bread, I need flour of a certain quality. The prices paid for the goods are in line with market expectations. If I'm going to pay $100 for a bag of flour and I can only bake 10 loaves of bread, and I have to sell each loaf of bread at a price to cover the cost of the flour, the logistics, and the baking. So, for example, I sell wheat to the flour mill at $100 for enough wheat to make 1 bag of flour, which is 10 kilos of flour. From that 10 kilos of flour, the factory sells it to the bakery, all right, for $110. The bakery, when they bake bread, they get 30 loaves. They have to get back $110 plus their cost, which might be $25. So that's $155 divided by 20 loaves of bread. Now, if for some reason the flour mill cannot sell flour to the bakery at a price that the bakery can actually afford to make the bread and sell it to the consumer, then there's a shortage of supply and the bakery has to look for another supplier. So it's very important usually in the supply chain that the grower of the wheat has agreements with the mill, who have agreements with the flour seller to sell the flour to the bakery to have a continuous supply chain. Supply chain management is especially critical when manufacturers are working with perishable goods. Perishable goods mean goods that have a shelf life. Raw meat, raw chicken, flour, rice, these are all goods which are going to be eaten. From the time you mill corn and make it flour, the flour has to be stored at the right temperature and looked after. Because if you have flour sitting in a bag in a warehouse for 1 year, that flour will have little worms walking in it, and you can't use that flour. Flour is a perishable good. Chicken is a perishable good. Vegetables that you grow on a farm are perishable. From the time the farmer grows those vegetables and sends them to the market, they have a lifespan. So supply chain management is very, very important. Manufacturing. All the core supply chain manufacturing process or management process is related. From the time you take the wheat to the mill and make it flour, from the time that flour is made at the mill, manufactured from wheat to flour, that flour then goes to a bakery to be made into bread. The cost of making the product, the cost of the machinery, the labor, and everything else that goes with it, all have a final impact on the costs of the goods. For example, if I need a factory to produce flour in the mill, The wheat comes into the mill, the factory that produces the flour. That factory needs machinery. If that machinery costs more, they have to buy more machines, and they need more people to work in the factory. That will have a cost impact on the price of the flour that that factory sells to the bakery. During the manufacture process, a company must be mindful of waste or other controllable factors. Example, if a company is using more raw materials than planned and sourced the raw material and couldn't find it due to a lack of employee training, or the fact is that it was very hard to find the right quality of raw material, okay, this means that they need to have another supplier. So supply chain management means that you cannot rely on one supplier. You cannot say, I have a bakery, I make cakes, I need sugar. You cannot only have one sugar supplier, because if that sugar supplier increases their price or stops selling you sugar, you cannot make cakes and you will lose your customers. And the last one, or the next one, is delivering. Okay, so basically, when we start with supply chain management, we start with the raw product, the raw material, to the manufacturer, to the factory, then the raw material goes to the factory to make the final product, or the bakery to bake bread, and then it goes to the shop to be sold. So the delivering of the product to the customer and the cost of getting the product to the customer is also important as part of the supply chain management process. So what we say here is our products are made and sales are finalized. A company must get the product to the hands of the customer at the right price, which a customer is prepared to pay. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Put your hands up. Does everybody understand that? Okay, good. Does everybody understand that? Good, excellent, excellent. Can anybody give me an example of a product which starts on a farm and ends up in the supermarket? Who can give me an example? Put your hand up. A product that starts in a farm. Okay, Yasir, go ahead. Are you there, Yasir? Where are you? Okay, unmute your microphone, Yasir. I can't see you, Yasir. Where are you? Are you there, Yasir? I can't see you, Yasir. Let's try someone else. Who would like to tell me? Okay, Roland. Okay, here we go. Marie, give me a product that starts at a farm and ends up in a shop. Can you go ahead? Go on, Marie.
The sugar cane, sir. Sugar.
Okay, tell me, where does it start and where does it end up?
Sugar cane first, and then they have to manufacture, then sugar powder in the market.
Okay, so basically what we're saying is the sugar cane starts on the sugar cane farm, and from the sugar cane farm, it's made into what? What happens to the sugar cane, Marie? Okay, just give me a minute, Marie. All right, do you understand what I said, Marie? So sugarcane starts with a sugarcane farm, sugarcane factory, okay? And then once the sugarcane is produced, it becomes material to sell. So if the sugarcane farmer experiences a higher cost to cut the sugar, right? To cut the sugarcane and send it to the customer, then that cutting of the sugar cane to make it to sugar will cost more. Do you understand that? Yes or no? Everyone? Yes? Okay, thank you. Just give me a minute. Okay, so does everybody understand what I just said? Yes or no? You all understand? Very good. Excellent. All right, so let's go on now. Let's go on and talk about it. We all understand that everything starts at a farm. Everything starts from nothing. Understand? You know, a chicken is born. How is a chicken born? A chicken starts with an egg, a hatching factory. The hatching factory has a cost. That egg becomes a little chicken. That chicken has to grow up. Once the chicken grows up, it's slaughtered. Once it's slaughtered, it goes to the supermarket. The whole process can affect the cost that the customer eventually pays for that chicken. Do you all understand that? Can everybody wave their hand? Yes? Okay, good. Excellent. Thank you. Here we go. All right. This includes having a backup for diversified distribution methods. And this comes back to what I said. How might a company delivery process be impacted by record snowfall in distribution centers or areas? For example, let's talk about that in respect of the chicken. The chicken is freshly slaughtered today. If the chicken is not frozen and it remains refrigerated, it must be sold in 1 or 2 days. On the third day, that fresh chicken is no good anymore. It has to be frozen. So if my business is selling fresh chicken and I cannot send that fresh chicken from the slaughterhouse to the supermarket for the consumer to buy it while it's still fresh, then what happens to my chicken? It cannot be sold. It's perishable. It loses value, and that will impact the market because there will be less fresh chicken, and therefore consumers will not find fresh chicken because the chicken was not delivered on time, and that will have an impact on the price. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Does everybody understand that? Great. All right, returning. The supply chain management process concludes with support for product and customer returns. So what happens is I sell a product to market. I send the product to market. That product arrives at the market and I buy it. Now, that's not the end of it. If I buy it and there's something wrong with it, I have to return it. So supply chain management also deals with the event that the customer returns the product because it's faulty. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Put your hands up. Very good. All right. Many companies consider customer returns as an interaction between the customer and the company. A very important part of customer returns is the intercompany communication to identify defective products, expired products, or non-conforming goods. Without addressing the underlying cause of customer return, supply chain management process will have failed and future returns will likely persist. So all of this has an ongoing impact on the supply chain. Supply chain starts from the raw material on the farm all the way to the date it's delivered to the customer, and the customer uses that product without returning it. All of these processes have an impact on the supplier, and all of these processes can be impacted by inflation and increases in cost. Higher inflation affects the expenses such as raw materials, supplies, electricity, utilities, wages, and salaries. This all puts pressure on the end business because, as we said, if your business sells cakes and the cost of electricity, the cost of staff, the cost of the oven all goes up, and your consumers are not prepared to pay for that cake, your business will lose out. As the demand for your cakes or for your chickens or for your t-shirts falls, okay, as the demand falls, you will have less customers. As the demand goes up, okay, as the demand goes up, providing you keep your prices normal and reduce your profit, you may retain the same number of customers. However, if the price goes up and you put your price up, okay, therefore you may have a lot of goods unsold. However, if just feel of it this way, when demand for a particular good or service is increased, so that means if the price or the cost of the good to your shop goes up, but you do not increase your price, you reduce your profit, but bear the same selling price, demand may remain the same. All right? Okay. Now, if for some reason Marie decides that even though the price of her t-shirt has increased $1, but in order to make sure she doesn't lose her customers, she will still sell it at $10, but offer them additional value by giving them the second t-shirt 50% discount. Okay, demand will go up. Okay, demand will go up. But however, she might not have enough t-shirts to sell because the factory may increase the price again and she may no longer be able to sell it at that price. She has to look for another supplier. So it's important for Marie to have more than one t-shirt supplier. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Do you all understand what I mean by demand pull push inflation now? Okay. So if the supplier pulls for a higher price, you have to push that higher price onto your consumer. If you can control that, you may retain your consumers, but you lower your profit margin. Okay, everyone? Yes or no? All right, so let's go through this. Decrease in customer purchases. Okay, let's start from the beginning. If you have a decrease in customer purchases, that means you sell less. All right. If your inventory costs goes up, you put your prices up, less people will buy. Okay. If you increase the cost of the service you provide to people, less people will buy it. If there's an increase of delivery costs, that means it costs you more to ship the t-shirts from China to Indonesia. That means the t-shirt costs you more. You may have to increase the price, and therefore people might no longer be ready to pay that price for your t-shirt. Okay, if wages and employee turnover could affect it. For example, employees' wages go up, but you're no longer able to pay high salaries because your profit margin is lower. Therefore, employees might leave you and go to another company. That means you don't have enough staff because of high turnover. All right. Now, if you don't have cash flow in the bank and you can't invest more money to pay higher salaries, that will also have an impact on your distribution, not only on you, the seller, but also on the manufacturer who may have the same problems. These are all effects of inflation. Does everybody understand that so far? Yes or no? Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Yes or no? Thank you. Good. Okay. All right, let's go on. How to mitigate the impact of inflation on supply chain management, improve spend and supply chain visibility, diversify your supply network, review your contracts and make sure you have more than one supplier, make sure that you source from as many people as possible using online sourcing and technology, and make sure that you have people who can help you source at a reduced price to be able to fight inflation. Companies must consider 3 strategic points when they are facing inflation. One, recalibrate. That means look at your suppliers, see if you can find better suppliers who can supply you at a lower price. Look at your products, see if the products you're selling need to change. Look at your brand. If you've always been an expensive brand, try to rebrand yourself so people think that you're more affordable, all right? And last but not least, replace the high price models with a more realistic model that your consumers can afford. Does everybody understand what I've explained tonight about inflation in the supply chain management context? Okay, let me answer questions now. Who has some questions for me? Let's take questions. Sonam? Som, sorry, go ahead, Som. Som?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, good. Do you understand what I've explained today?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Excellent. Thanks, mate. Okay, let's go to the next question. Yasir, do you have any questions? Go on, Yasir.
So, my question is that the economy is affecting the entire world. Do we have any other plan that we can overcome this economic holocaust? So.
Well, rephrase your question. Let's break that up. Inflation doesn't affect one country. Inflation is a dominating or domineering influenza or disease. Sorry, can you eliminate that noise? Just hold on. Okay, so inflation is more like a persistent virus that when it spreads, it covers the world, Yasir. So if inflation affects one part of the world, what controls the level of inflation in your country is the value of your currency. If your currency is strong against the US dollar, that will basically dictate how much inflation your country suffers. It depends the price or the currency you use against the US dollar, against the euro, and how that will affect your currency. For example, if you live in Indonesia and use the rupiah, which is not very strong, then of course the impact of inflation will be a lot higher. Do you understand that, Yasir? Thank you. All right. Would anybody else like to ask me a question? Okay, Danan, go ahead, Danan. Do you have a question? Danan? No? Okay, thank you. All right, let's go to Jivan. Hi, Jivan. Do you have a question?
No, sir.
Go. Okay, good on you, Jivan. Have you understood today's session, Jivan?
Yes, sir.
Good man. Okay, let's go to the next person. Kin Gi, do you have a question? No? Okay, thank you, Kin Gi. All right, let's go to Kin Mien Mao. Do you have a question, Kin? Are you there, Kin? Go ahead.
No, sir, thank you.
Okay, if you don't have a question, guys, could you lower your hand for me, please? Okay, does anybody have a question? Only if you have a question, put your hands up. All right, let's go. Lani, go ahead. Lani, what do you got to say?
Hi, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, go on.
I just wanna ask about problem of the inflation. Like how we can do stop the inflation in the economy or in the business.
Okay, explain your question again. What's your question?
My question is, inflation is a problem for the business, right? Then how are we gonna stop it if you are doing a business or in economy?
I just told you, you need to recalibrate. You need to reevaluate. Do you have enough suppliers? Should you look for more suppliers that can counter the inflation? You need to look at whether you need to recalibrate your product. Should your product have enough so much sugar in it, or should you change your product to be able to manufacture at a right cost? It's all about recalibrating. You have to recalibrate by looking at who you buy from, where you buy from, how much you pay for it, and what product you're selling. Do you understand that? Yes or no?
Okay, sir. Yes,
Good
sir.
on you.
Thank you.
Does that help you, Lani? Does that help
Yes.
you? Good
Yes,
on
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's talk to Pello. Hi, Pello. Yeah, do you have a question, Pello? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I want to ask,
Yeah.
can we say COVID-19 had a negative impact on inflation all over the world post-COVID?
Can you repeat that question slowly so I can understand it? Go ahead.
Can we say COVID-19 had a negative impact on inflation all over the world post-COVID?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Because as a result of COVID-19, demand went up, but supply was slow coming back. And as a result, what happened is factories in China decided, because everybody wanted their product and there was a shortage, they increased their prices. So it was inflation overnight. It had a negative effect, yes. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, let's go to the next person. Roland, go ahead. Hi, Roland, you have a question?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Actually, I don't have any question. I just want to share some any useful
go ahead.
information.
Yes, please.
Regarding the even here in Saudi Arabia, we are experiencing this stable country, and they have stable currency, and oil is coming from here, but still we feel the impact of the rising of the prices of the basic commodities.
Yeah, okay.
Like for our everyday needs. But right now, there is two companies. They counter the prices of these commodities, so that it will be easy for the consumer to purchase it. So what they are doing, this is just to inform you, the companies. This is the Tabi and the Tamara. So if you purchase in some stores, like you are purchasing with a huge amount, so you will be, you can divide it. You can divide the payment into four payments. So that means you will pay less for a period of 4 months. So that the middle class and the lower class.
What we're doing is providing the consumer credit to make it easier
Yes.
for him to buy. But there's a cost on that.
Yes, sir. You're right, sir.
That means a business has to wait 4 months for its money. There's still a cost. And the reason for that, but the reason for that, why companies do that, is so they don't lose their demand. So they maintain demand by giving customers an option to pay in a different way. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. But actually, when it comes to the cost of the items, it will be the same.
I know, but the cost doesn't go up on the consumer. It goes up on the supplier because he has to give them credit. So that means he has to use the money in the bank, all right, to pay for more goods and wait for the consumer to pay him. So even though it doesn't cost the consumer anything, it's still costing the retailer or the supplier a cost on him. Do you understand that?
I see, sir. Yeah, it's clear for me. It's clear. Thank you so much for that, sir.
Do you understand what I mean? Do you understand? Do you understand where the cost is?
Sir.
For example, you sell gold. Today you sell a ring for 1,000 rial. The gold that you bought, you already paid the gold supplier to make the ring, right? But when the customer buys it, he only pays you 200 rial. The gold in that ring is worth 500 rial. That's what the gold costs. So for 4 months, you have to have enough money in the bank to buy more gold to make more rings, because that customer hasn't returned your cost inclusive of profit. You understand that?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes
okay,
or no?
Sir, thank
Don't
you so much
say
for
okay.
that. Thank you so much.
No, you're not listening to me. Do you understand what I mean by that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Give me an example. Give me an example.
Yeah. That means the cost of the price, it's they put some more additional additional percentage to cover the you know the
No, you're
what
not
we call
listening
it.
to me. No, Roland, you're not listening to me. Okay, let's play this. You're a jeweler, right? You're a jeweler. You buy
Okay.
gold for $100 an ounce, okay? $100 an ounce. You're going to make a ring today with 3 ounces of gold. The cost of the gold is $300, right?
Okay.
Now, when you buy the gold from the gold distributor, you must pay for it in advance, right? Because it's gold, it's a commodity. All right, so you've spent $300 on the commodity. Then you design the ring, you make the ring, you sell the ring, okay? All right?
Okay.
The cost of the gold is 300. The labor is 100, that's 400. All your other costs is 50, that's 450. All right? Got it?
Okay.
Now, the selling price of your ring is $600. You only make $150 profit. Okay? Agreed?
Okay. Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
today, Roland comes into my shop. He buys that ring, and I give him 4 installments. Got it?
Yes.
4
Okay.
installments. So $600 divided by 4 is $150 per installment, right? So Roland gives me $150 and walks out. Okay. Have I got my money back for the gold yet? The gold costs me $300, right?
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So I
Of
have
course.
to. Okay. So the cost to the business is they have to wait until they get their money back before they earn a profit on that ring. Do you understand what I mean? That's what I mean by the cost. The cost is on the business. It doesn't mean increasing the cost. It's just the financial burden on the business. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
I see, sir. Yes. Yes.
Okay,
I
thank you,
understand
Roland.
now. Yeah, thank you so much.
Does it make sense? Do you understand what I mean, that there's a burden on the business?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Good on you. Okay. All right, let's go on. Does anybody else have any questions for me? Anyone else? Okay, I can take 2 more questions. Go ahead. Yeah, Carmela, go ahead.
I want to know, because we couldn't stop the inflation, but where is the usual root cause of the inflation that we are experiencing? Where it came from? The root cause.
The root cause is the cost of goods and services that's brought on by different economies. For example, the dollar might get stronger. Your currency might not live up to the dollar. Your currency might be weaker. That causes inflation. Do you follow that? That's one cause. The other cause of inflation is the factory in China decides that today a lot of people want to buy its product. So they automatically increase the price to supply the product. That's inflation. Do you understand that? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Good on you. Thank you very much. Okay, does anybody else want to talk to me? Anybody else? Okay, let's talk to John. Hi, John. Go ahead, John. Hello, John. Are you there, John? Unmute your microphone.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, what's your question?
It's not a question, but I just want to share an idea.
Yes, please, go ahead.
You was talking about demand.
Yes.
What I pick up there is that in demand, I think the higher the price, the lower the commodity, and the lower the commodity, the higher the price sometimes.
Once the price goes higher, the demand for that price becomes lower. The demand for the goods. Yeah, because hold on. If I sell the watch for $10 and 100 people buy it, and eventually this watch becomes $20, less people will buy it. So therefore demand will be lower.
Yeah. That I have time to say.
Okay, yeah. Do you agree with me or not?
I agree with you because
thank you very much.
When the commodity is high, the customer will not afford to buy the commodities.
That's right. Exactly right. Yes, sir. You're right, John. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's why as a business, you need to recalibrate. Either try to buy the commodity at a lower price or buy a cheaper commodity of the same quality. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Good on you, mate. Take care. Thanks, John. Okay, anybody else want to talk to Wally? Yeah, go ahead, Melba. Hi, Melba.
Hi, sir.
Yeah,
I have
go
a
ahead.
question, sir. Which
Yeah.
sector of the company benefits from the inflation? For example, now it's why does the inflation suddenly reappear?
Sorry, ask the question again slowly. What's your question?
What is the sector of the company benefits from inflation?
There's no benefit to any company from inflation, because if you're a no, hold on. If you're a Chinese manufacturer and you increase your price, some of your customers might stop buying from you. So as a manufacturer, you have to decide, am I rich enough? Can I afford to lose customers? If I'm a big manufacturer and there's plenty of customers, I can afford it, all right? However, if I'm a small manufacturer and I increase my price, at the end of the day, less people will buy my product to sell it, okay? So there is no real win from inflation. If the supplier, the factory in China makes money, at the end of the day, somebody else will lose money. So there is no win-win result of inflation. Do you understand that, Melba?
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Melba. Does that answer your question?
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. All right, let's go to the next person. Yes, Darwin. Go ahead, Darwin.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, go
Can
on.
you hear me?
Yeah, of course I can. Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to share that, the inflation is inevitable nowadays, especially its country. I really understand the inflation because its country, they have their own we have our own big differences in terms of currency, especially here in the Philippines and just example in US. That's why we cannot avoid that. And I think it's depend on the business and of course on the consumer on how they sell their business towards the consumer for them to be able to earn. And I believe that that is it's normal because the big difference is our currency in country, especially in US. Their currency is really high.
I understand. I agree with you. I totally agree.
Hello.
Right. Okay. So what you're
Yes.
saying is, depending on the value of the US dollar or euro and how your currency measures against that, that is a cause of inflation. You are correct. Yes.
Definitely. Yes. Definitely.
Yeah, you are correct. Okay. All right. So tell me,
you.
Darwin, are you in business? Do you have a business?
No, currently I have no business, but
All right,
I'm trying to achieve. That is one of my dream someday if
well, Darwin, I'm here to
I will
help you.
be
If you
able
need
to.
any advice, you can contact me or message me. All right, mate?
Yes.
I'm here to
Thank you.
support you.
Thank
Okay.
you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome,
Yes.
Darwin. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, Darwin. Okay, who else wants to talk to me? Last person. Go ahead, Relima. What's your question, Relima? Go ahead, Relima. Yeah.
Say, I have a very important client that has asked me if we could give him discount. And I couldn't make the decision on that. But what I did was I asked him.
A client is asking you for a discount and you couldn't make a decision on whether to give him a discount. So let me tell you, when a client asks for discounts, what are the things that you should consider? 1, what is your profit? 2, how much does that customer spend with you in a year or over a year? If you give him a discount once, is it a once-only discount or is it a recurring discount? And last but not least, is it cheaper to give him a discount or to lose the order? Do you understand that, Relima?
Yes, sir.
Does that help you?
Yes.
All right. Do you have any other questions, Relima?
Yeah, so I was asking whether that was the right decision I did by asking him to give me
what was your decision?
They're buying the lowest buying prices, so I can see and try match prices. If we can match, then we have no choice. Just
And were you
But then
able
the
to
price
do
is-
that? Did you end up matching the price?
Sorry?
Did you match the price?
Not yet. He's yet to get back to me, so I'm still waiting.
But it is very dangerous. That's very dangerous, Relima. You know why? Because he can
No.
go to another supplier and say, listen, I usually buy from Relima. He's not prepared to give me a discount. And you know what the other supplier will do? How much does Relima
Lower his
sell
price.
for you? Now, hold on. How much does Relima sell to you? $1. I'll give it to you for 93 cents. Buy from me. Do you think he's going to come back and tell you no? Because next time you charge him higher. So what you did was wrong. What you did is should have said, give me 1 day, let me check the market. You should have checked the market prices, then given him the price. You shouldn't have told him to check himself. Because if he checks himself, he will not come back. Do you
Thank you.
understand that?
Yes.
Good on you. You're good. Thanks, Relima. Bye-bye. Okay, guys, has anybody else got any questions from BizTalk 93? Has everybody enjoyed today's session? Wave your hands if you've enjoyed today's session. Come on, only 3 people. Come on, guys. Okay. Do you all want to see me back for another BizTalk soon? Yes or no? Great. Can everybody go to Facebook, okay, Instagram, and leave me a message? Mr. Wally, I like your BizTalk. Come back again. Can everybody do that today? Promise me, all right? I want everyone to go to Facebook, everybody to go to Instagram, everybody to send me a message on WhatsApp. Mr. Wally, I like your BizTalk. Come back again. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Okay. From me to all of you, Mr. Govind, thank you for tonight's BizTalk. Until we meet again. Good night, everyone.